Welcome to Seven Trumpets Prepper. And guys, let me just tell you that I have said it many, many times that something bad is coming. I can feel it in the air. I've felt the shift for a long time. But with that said, I'm going to tell you, you need to be really careful in the days and weeks and months ahead of the proximity of the people in which you keep around you. I'm going to tell you 2 dreams I've had of recent. One I've shared on different video before. They're 2 of the most profound dreams I've probably ever had in my life. I don't even know if you'd call it a vision. I don't know. I'll get to that in a minute. But I was just actually talking this to Brother Tim the other night, because I barely ever shared any of this to anybody, some of this. But the main thing I want to convey first and foremost, because I know people have an attention span of a gnat, is that what is about to shake out in this country is going to shake everything to the core. If you could take the Great Depression, the housing crisis of 2008, if you could take the race wars in racial division that took place in our country years ago, the political upheaval like never before, religious upheaval, religious nationalism, if you could take all this and put in a blender and run it out, that's what you're going to see really soon. It's being intentionally created. It's not accidental. Somebody didn't just wake up one day and be like, man, I'm upset at the world. I'm going to do this. It's not anything like that. This has been orchestrated for the forever longest time. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, if you think about the fact that after World War II, the fake nation state of Israel that was created, I know I'm going to upset a lot of people, but the true Hebrew Israelites are those scattered throughout the nation's day that are the so-called black man. Not everybody qualifies for that, but many under Deuteronomy 28 curse. If you compound this together and you understand that most of what goes on today is orchestrated solely by those that are in the synagogue of Satan, you would understand clear how far along we are in the book of Revelation. Because those that are of the synagogue of Satan are going to have to come and worship before Israel's feet and the believers' feet. I really believe it. Or pay credence anyway and bend the knee. And they'll have to worship the Most High, that's for sure, and acknowledge that He was right. Because if you look in every facet of government, religion, educational institutionalism, they is the so-called Jew at the top of it. Now keep in mind, the following further I go into this video, I cannot guarantee this will be over on YouTube, so this may get a strike. I'm willing to take that risk, so it'll probably be over on Patreon. Charlie Kirk, whether alive or dead, however you want to view that, in the very end, he had a great strife with the so-called Jew. They is a movement happening where people, and I attributed it greatly to the destruction of Palestine and the murder of the Palestinian people and the women and children and infants, and y'all rest their souls. Please remember them in the resurrection, as that I hope you remember me and my family, should I perish. And all this shaking out in the end is that if you look at the Free Palestine movement that's going on, it is so obvious at this point the inner workings of the synagogue of Satan. These people are inherently, I just want to go on record and say inherently evil. I don't know how to quantify it. I don't know how to explain it to people where I can be like, hey, this is empirical evidence that people are just born inherently evil. I don't know how, I don't know if I could ever present that, but I personally, this is the one moment that Luke will go on a personal belief and say that I believe some people are born inherently evil. And the reason I say that is because if they had 1,000 lifetimes, they'd still turn out the same way, no matter where they were born, who their parents was, what their lifestyle was, what they had to go through. The end result would be the same. It didn't matter if they were a beggar on the street or a rich person up in a mansion, they'd still turn out inherently evil. So, the end would be the same. So call that predestination, call that just quantum physics, call it whatever you want. It is what it is. Like if I lived in the hood today, I still want to serve Most High Yah. If I lived in a mansion, I still want to serve Most High Yah. You know, it's just what it is, right? Right now I'm at the lowest point in my life. I'm unemployed. I'm running out of my savings. I don't know where tomorrow's going to come from. Using the last money I have to go to Texas to speak for the kingdom. And then I'm coming home and I don't know what my life looks like that just a week later. So, I mean, I still want to serve Most High. And my health has just been the worst trashed it's been in forever. My blood pressure last week was 170 over like 112 or whatever. I've had to take blood pressure medicine again. It's just been a ton of spiritual warfare. And I attribute most of it to that. And so before I get to these dreams and then pick up further on Synagogue of Satan, what I want to say is that I don't know how attached many of us have become to people around us. I don't know how attached you've become to this idea that the Israel that exists today in the Middle East has got to be just no matter what, we've got to take care of these people. Israel is a people, not a place. They were a people when they were in bondage in Egypt. They were a people when they were in the land of Israel. They're a people today scattered throughout the nations. And I got to tell you, a lot of the nations have not been good to the so-called black man, the true Hebrew Israelites. So I got to tell you, there's going to be some receipts get cashed in if you're a racist or, as I prefer to call it, a melaninist, because races of human beings, in my opinion, didn't exist till 2019 when people got mRNA and other people didn't get mRNA. Now you have two races of human beings, one tainted, one untainted. That's a conversation for another video. I don't want to get it pulled over that. But if you really unpack this right now, it is so important to be mindful of who you surround yourself with in these last days, because there is people that no matter what atrocities the nation state of Israel conducts, no matter the diabolical, wicked acts they do of blood sacrifice and worship and all these things that's Kabbalahism and all this, people will cleave, and especially these mainstream mainline pastors will cleave to them people, and this country currently is not the United States of America. I believe it is completely and concisely controlled by the synagogue of Satan, the Jews, and furthermore, the so-called Jews. I keep wanting to say so-called Jews because I know who the true Hebrew Israelites are, no doubt about it, and stand firm behind them. And the radicalization of our government is so obvious, and the gentleman that is, well, he's no gentleman in my opinion, but I can link a video link on Facebook where that I think it was Al Jazeera English, the news in English for Al Jazeera News had done an interview with the head of the security committee for the Senate or whatever, and the guy was so out of touch that he had never even been to the Middle East to see Palestine or anything that's going on over there. And he was completely, content with the murder of the people that was going on. And it just goes to show you that our government is just in a bad spot, and it's never going to get better until Messiah comes and rules with a rod of iron. Like, all this is going to have to be put down. And I don't think I think people's in this witchcraft of MAGA and politics, and just think that Trump and everybody's going to save everything. And I watch the world and America get worse every single passing day. Like, I'm telling you, it was bad before Biden. It was bad we had Biden. It is extremely bad with Trump. And I told everyone he'd be elected, and I told everyone that these things would come. And man, they're just, the thing that's shocking me is that the rapidos, the speed, the massive speed at how things are going. That's what's blowing my mind. But I want to tell you these two dreams real quick. And, I've tried to find peace and resolve that I may not see the coming of the kingdom, but hopefully make it in the resurrection. Because I had this dream, and there was a multitude of people. And these two messengers were there, and they were like, look, the best I remember, there was two of them standing there, and the one specifically was like, look, this is the deal. You get to pick who lives. We'll make sure they make it through this, right? But in exchange for that, you've got to step in here and you've got to be incinerated and you won't never exist again. And I was like, but let me get this straight. My family, my children, my lineage after me, my friends, my relatives, the people I love, they're going to make it through this, right? Yep, that's the deal. But the deal was that the people I was collectively saving from all this bad about to happen, they didn't know what was up. They just thought, hey man, it's great, we're getting out of this. And I know this was a dream, but just bear with me, I'm going to get the other dream in a second. And so once I collected up everybody, I was like, this is the people I want protected and shielded, right? Well, while they were over there and, talking with the messengers and all this stuff going on, I stepped into the tube and I was incinerated. And that was that. And then people found out afterwards that the collective exchange of my life was that they got to live and see the new kingdom and all this. And it was a really, really disturbing dream. And the other dream I had was that I was here during the destruction and the beginning of the trumpets, is that I had this dream and I did not know it. And it was Pastor Tywell, I believe, Brother Tywell, that pointed out to me, and forgive me if I'm wrong on this, I think it was him, I might be wrong on this. Someone pointed out to me the following day that there was a eclipse over, partial eclipse over North America, and it was over New York. And I had this dream prior to it, and I didn't even know. Okay, so didn't even know. I had a dream prior, 24 hours prior, or the night before, or whatever, that I was at this college, and inside this laboratory, I was standing there, and this is how the dream started. And they were trying to resurrect, through necromancy, a fallen angel, I imagine, a deity, a false deity that is the Mayan serpent deity that I won't mention his name because I'm not giving false deities credence. But I seen it on the placard, and I was like, oh my gosh. I was like, and I seen all this purple electricity and this robotic sky serpent thing they were trying to create, and like I said, you could see it was obvious. It was like necromancy. It was like standing in Frankenstein's laboratory type thing. And I told them, I was like, this is wickedness, and I started cursing them, and I'm not talking like dropping F-bombs and stuff like that. Like, I'm like, Father, y'all, please kill these people because they're wicked, and just destroy this. And as I'm stepping outside, these sky orbs start falling, and they just start incinerating everything, like solid concrete and rebar, structural and industrial steel, like everything's just, and people's getting just excommunicado, just wiped out one after another. And this one dude's running, trying to get away, and it goes pop and finally gets him as he's running under the cover of awning, because a lot of schools have awnings that go from building to building. And I'm standing there in shock and awe, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is going on? And I'm like, and then it hits me, I'm like, I'm standing in the middle of this going on, I've got to get to cover. And I run and get to cover. Long time passes by, this just continues, and it's obvious it's the third of stars falling out of the heavens. And I see this newscast come on, and there's these people, it's like in an arcade, and the roof gets collapsed through, and they're just you can see the security footage where they're just getting bombarded. And then the other footage cuts, and it's the New York skyline. You can make out that this is obviously like the New York Manhattan skyline. And then I wake up, and the following day was that eclipse over New York, and then it was extremely dark over New York whenever this dream went on. And I'm telling you, I really feel like these are, I wouldn't say premonitions, but warnings of the end. And I have felt judgment coming up on this land now for over a year. I have had so many gut feelings about things that have taken place. It's unreal. Like, I had a feeling my dad was going to pass away, and he had been sick multiple times. About 4 months later, he passed away. That was last year. I had a feeling my place I worked was going to let people go. They let people go. I had a feeling it was going to pretty much just end. And I got the word here just recently that pretty much everybody else got let go. That was 6 months later after I had that feeling. There's another one I just don't even want to speak about because it just affects my life so badly that I hope it ain't true. And I just keep having these feelings. And I have had I had the feeling that Trump was going to be elected 8 days before election. I made the video, told people what was going to come to pass. That happened. Right down the line, I might add. And I don't say these things to be like I'm a prophet. I don't even claim that. I'm just telling you, like, I get these terrible feelings. And when it comes full circle, these dreams, feelings, all these things, like when it comes to America, I'm telling you guys, like, we are so close to judgment. I can feel it in my bones. I can feel it in the air. Like, there's just this change that is taking place, and you watch our economy is faltering. I said a video about that, that we're headed toward depression. And in my spirit, I already feel that too, and I know it's going to happen. And it just, you can feel this change, and I'm telling you that what you are watching take place is being specifically orchestrated, by a large hand in the synagogue of Satan, the false Jews. And my last commentation I would make on this is, and I'm going to actually make a further video about this to just break this down in the future, is that I feel like it is being orchestrated, the end time events, in advance of the end time events, just to throw people that much further off from hope of salvation and to demoralize people to give up their faith. I feel that is in the air. It has been up on my spirit for a while, and I really think that we are on the precipice of that. It is being orchestrated, like, this whole alien arrival thing next month that's being told to everybody, and just all this crazy stuff. There is a lot in the works, and I just don't want you to take your eye off the prize, that at the end of the day, we are being manipulated by elements of secret societies, of the synagogue of Satan, of the Vatican, and Jesuits. The enemies do not walk among us in the daylight and being made known with like a little armband or sticker, or like how people has a country's flag patch on their arm. They don't do like that. They walk among you and you don't even know it. They're among us. And if you have cleaved to the idea, to the notion, and to the belief that the so-called Jews of today in Israel, and where the flip is the rest of the lost tribes, right? Like, if those people are the Jews, where is the rest of the peoples? Because there was the nation of Israel and the 12 tribes, and not just the Jews. Matter of fact, forgive me if I'm wrong on this, I believe that whenever we go back and really check the annals of history, that the departure of Israel out of that land, that when the return happened, that I believe it was the Egyptian premier said that you left black and you came back white, we can't accept you. That's a pretty damning claim, to be honest with you. That'd be like me leaving here and then come back and they're like, you left white and you came back green, we can't accept you. There's something not right with that. And I've covered this in the True Hebrew Israelites documentary I've done all the way back in like 2014, 2015, years ago. And guys, something is shifting. And I'm telling you, be careful of the people you surround yourself with, the thoughts and ideas moving forward, because they are being massively controlled by the synagogue of Satan. And so, guys, as always, till we see you again here, Seven Trumpets Prepper, hope Most High Yah Baruch and keep you, make his face shine upon you, show you favor, and give you shalom, my friends, in Yahushua name.